Hello, Lakers Nation. Welcome into the LakersNation.com podcast. My name's Trevor Lane, and it's game day. Lakers Nets, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time tonight. The final game of the Lakers' 8-game road trip. We'll see if the Lakers can finish it the right way. If they can get a win tonight, that'll put them at 5-3 on the trip. I'll, of course, be live right here on the LakersNation.com YouTube channel, breaking down the game, doing a little play-by-play as it's happening. Come hang out. It's like a party. Lakers versus Nets tonight, 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. All right, today on the show, got a few things to get into. We'll talk about the injury report here. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a shorter show compared to our typical preview shows because there's not a lot to talk about on the injury report, and it is the Brooklyn Nets that the Lakers are playing. There's not a ton to break down for this game, really, and I'll explain why in a minute. So I'm going to look at some of the biggest questions around the game from the Lakers side of things and talk a little bit about what the Lakers need to do to get the win, and we'll pick an X factor as well. If you're looking for more Lakers content, I've got a couple of videos out from yesterday on the YouTube channel. Talked about Jake Fisher had a comment about LeBron James and the Lakers kind of being at the end of the line, and that both sides sort of know that they're ready to move on, and what that might mean for the Lakers this summer, what that might mean for the Lakers on the trade market, if that is indeed the sentiment. And then also have the ideal trade deadline for the Lakers and what that would look like. That's up on the YouTube channel as well right now to go check out. Of course, today we are now 2 days away from the trade deadline, which is coming up on Thursday. It does come up at noon Pacific time, the NBA trade deadline. We'll see if the Lakers can get anything done, if Rob Pelinka can figure out a way to make something happen. It is looking not great in terms of the Lakers getting something done, but with 2 days to go until the trade deadline, you never say never in this crazy league. You know, last night we had the news, shocking news, that James Harden is apparently looking to move on from the Clippers. They're suddenly beating everybody, and now James Harden wants to leave. You never know what's going to happen in this league, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening that is paycheck related, if that makes sense. James Harden reportedly wanting to leave the Clippers because he wants to find a team that will pay him on his next contract, and the Clippers aren't going to be the team to do it because they want flexibility in 2027. We saw a similar situation with Brandon Ingram with the Pelicans last year. That was a big factor. Trae Young with the Hawks. We're starting to see that become the payment side of things become a bigger factor than, in some cases, what's happening on the court or anything like that. So, you never know what's going to happen in this crazy league of ours. But right now, things don't sound super positive about the Lakers doing something significant by the trade deadline. But again, there's still time left on the clock, and you never know when there's a little magic in the air. All right. The Lakers for tonight's game on the injury report, they list Bronny James and Austin Reeves as questionable. Adu Thero is listed as out. Not a surprise there. But Austin has been questionable for the last few games, and each game he's been ruled out right before the game. He even warmed up ahead of the game, the last game against the Knicks. Austin warmed up and then ultimately did not play. And JJ Redick said they have to be confident he's 100%. Now, I understand that. JJ did say early on in the road trip that Austin would play at some point during this trip. In fact, I think he said it, game 1 of the trip. And we haven't seen him to this point. So this is it. This is the final opportunity to play during the road trip. This is the February 3rd game that we said is now the latest that Austin Reeves would come back. And I'll say this, if it's between JJ Redick being proven wrong with what he said about Austin coming back during the trip and making sure Austin is fully healthy, or proving JJ Redick right, they're not going to put Austin on the floor just to make JJ's comment a true statement, right? That Austin would come back during the road trip. If it turns out that JJ was not correct about Austin returning during the road trip, so be it. They're going to make sure that Austin is 100% before they put him back out there on the floor. Right now, the Lakers are a 7.5-point favorite against the Nets, which is maybe a little bit of a surprise. The Nets lost by 53 the last time they played the Detroit Pistons. The Lakers are coming off a loss as well. The final game of the road trip can certainly be a trap game, and maybe there's some thought that the Lakers won't be particularly focused for this game, and perhaps there's some thought that Austin Reeves may ultimately not play in this one either. But Bronny, if he plays, if he doesn't play, he's going to be an end-of-the-bench guy. The potential is here for the Lakers to blow out the Nets, and maybe you wind up with some real minutes for Bronny, but he's questionable. But the big question mark for the Lakers, it's Austin Reeves. Can he go? Can he get back? Use this game to get into a rhythm, especially because when you look ahead to what the Lakers have coming up, it is, boy, we got the All-Star break coming, and that's just a couple weeks away, and that's helpful. But the schedule, it's a gauntlet to get there. You look at what the Lakers have coming up on trade deadline day. By the way, this is the Lakers' last game ahead of the trade deadline, but on deadline day, they get the Philadelphia 76ers. Philly's been good. They've been a challenge for most teams this season. We all know what Tyrese Maxey can do. On February 7th, they take on the Warriors. Then you go February 9th and 10th. My God, look at that back-to-back. OKC, San Antonio back-to-back. Then you finish things off against Dallas before heading into the All-Star break. And remember, we may look at it and say, well, it's Dallas, final game. Okay, they'll win that one. Weird stuff happens in the final game before the All-Star break. Why? Because guys are thinking about their vacations. Guys are not focused for that game. It's the way the Lakers lost the game to the Jazz, I think, the game before the All-Star break last year, if I'm remembering correctly. Weird stuff happens in the game before the All-Star break is my point. That you never know what's going to happen in that game because, guys, there's a little bit of that senioritis effect, right? It's the kids in school that are ready for vacation. And so that can be a challenge sometimes to be focused in that game. So you never know. You don't want to just chalk that one up as a win. And Dallas has proven to be feisty on any given night. So that's 6 games, that I don't know what the record's going to be coming out of that. And you have to hope, obviously, the Lakers get the win tonight. But after that, Philly, Golden State, OKC, San Antonio, Dallas, that 5, if you go 3-2 during that 5-game stretch, you're thrilled, frankly, with the quality of opponents that you've got there. So got to lock in this win against the Nets tonight because the schedule for the rest of the way up until the All-Star break, it gets very, very difficult. All right, so the biggest questions around the Lakers. Oh, I should note the Nets injury report, pretty clean. The Nets injury report, their main pieces, Noah Clowney's probable. So that means he's going to play. Zaire Williams, probable. He's going to play. The only guys they have that are noteworthy that are out are G League guys on 2-way contracts. I'm not going to worry about those guys too much. But then Haywood Highsmith, but he's not played yet this season. I know a lot of Lakers fans have thrown him into trade rumors towards the Lakers, just thinking, hey, they need some kind of a wing. But Highsmith has not played yet this season. So he is out against the Lakers as well. All right, the big questions around this game. Let's get into that. And then we'll name the X factor of the night for the Lakers. We're going to do that in just 1 minute. I will be right back. Ever heard of the Sleeper app? Well, here's a little secret. It's more than just a platform for season-long fantasy leagues. This year, millions of users enjoyed playing fantasy sports on Sleeper, but the app offers so much more. Live stats, real-time updates, and visualization on all stats. The part I really love, the news feed. Get lightning-fast updates on your favorite players and teams, and a real-time chat. Engage with other users about individual plays and performances during the NFL and NBA seasons. So download the #1 sports app today. Experience it for yourself. The link is in the description down below. When you use promo code LakersNation, you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today, and they have a great promo going on right now too. Plus a free $20 entry, no deposit needed. Go check out Sleeper and use that code LakersNation. All right, let's take a look at the big questions around this game. Rather than do 3 keys to the game, there's 1 key to the game that I'm going to really harp on here, but let's keep in mind this Nets team is okay, look, I'll just be honest. They're not good. I was going to try to soften that a little bit. They're not good. The Brooklyn Nets are not a good basketball team. That said, the Lakers, they're only a 7.5-point favorite as I'm recording this. The Nets are 13-35. They're one of, I believe, 4 teams that are tied with 13 wins in the tank race. Yes, the Sacramento Kings leading the tank race with just 12 wins. Congratulations to them. It's gosh, that DeAndre Hunter trade is awful. But yeah, who knows? I hope it works out for them. But the Pelicans, the Wizards, the Pacers, and the Nets all tied with 13 wins. So the Nets do have a reason to try to continue losing games. They are tanking. They want to get the best draft pick they possibly can. Meanwhile, the Lakers, where do they currently sit in the standings? Well, right now they are the 6th seed in the Western Conference. They lost their last game. They're 5-5 in their last 10. and could certainly use a bounce back game in this one. Got to take advantage of games like this because once again, the schedule ahead, it's pretty daunting and will remain so for much of the rest of the season, especially when they get into March and the final stretch into April. Some really, really difficult parts of the schedule there. So got to get this done. So the big question, though, going into this game, is Austin Reeves back? Is Austin Reeves finally back in action? I say finally. I was saying the moment the injury came out, I was projecting sometime around the All-Star break, maybe either shortly before or shortly after. And I was saying that even though that was a little bit further than his reevaluation time, because I didn't want people to be expecting him to come back and then all the where's Austin? Why is he not playing? What's really going on? You know, all that kind of stuff that inevitably happens whenever a player doesn't return by their reevaluation date. Then we got the update from JJ Redick that made it sound like his return was any day now. And now he still hasn't played. And now we're getting people saying, what's really going on? Did he get re-injured or whatever? Is Austin Reeves back in action tonight? We don't have any indication right now that anything else happened other than the Lakers just being cautious. Don't forget, Austin did go out with a calf injury, came back for a couple of games, and then went out again and has been out since Christmas Day now. So they've missed, and when I say missed him, they've really missed him on the floor. It's made a huge difference for the Lakers. They have not been nearly as good without Austin Reeves. But you look at his game log here, you can see he missed 3 games, came back for 2, and I mean, played 35, 36 minutes total in those 2 games, and now has been out since Christmas Day. So I think the Lakers just want to make sure if we're going to bring him back, he's going to stay back. And so I understand the hesitation on the part of the Lakers, the caution on the part of the Lakers. It makes sense, but this is a big question mark for this game. Do you get Austin Reeves back in action? Because the next games coming up, Philly, Golden State, I mean, certainly the Thunder, the Spurs, those are games where it's going to be a little more difficult to get into a rhythm, get your legs under you, that sort of thing. And it's going to take some time regardless. You're not going to have this one game against the Nets and then immediately be totally fine and back into a rhythm. And the team themselves, there's going to be an adjustment period for Austin to get back into the flow of things. The rotations are going to change, all of that. But it would be nice to at least get a little bit of a kind of dip your toe in the water type situation against a team like the Brooklyn Nets, who, look, they're more forgiving, right? When you have more of a margin for error against the Nets than you do other teams. So that would be preferable, in my opinion. Can you get Austin Reeves back and allow him to get back into the swing of things a little bit in this game before you have to really throw him into the deep end? You know, if you wait until, say, Thursday, trade deadline day, against the 76ers or something like that. All right. Is this also a Nick Claxton audition game? Nick Claxton has long been rumored to be a potential trade target for the Lakers. I still think if the Lakers are going to make a move for a big, that's more likely to happen this summer, and they're going to continue to chug along with DeAndre Ayton right now at the center spot. Is he the long-term fit for the Lakers? No, but DA could be more than serviceable on any given night. I didn't love the last game against the Knicks. I was optimistic the way he started out the game, but he only finished with 5 rebounds. 4 of them were offensive. Didn't do enough on the defensive glass for me in that game. But nonetheless, DA can get you through the remainder of the season, and you can be okay. So it's only if the price is right on Nick Claxton right now are you going to go ahead and make that kind of a move. But he's somebody to keep an eye on, somebody who, in terms of his skill set, his potential fit with Luka, he does make some sense there. Very switchy big. I do think DeAndre Ayton can overpower Nick Claxton in this game, but I'm curious to see how that battle ultimately looks, and could that be a factor in whether or not the Lakers ultimately decide to trade for Nick Claxton. So this potential Nick Claxton audition game here with the Lakers tonight. And then the last bit that I've got, do you 3 what I 3? Sorry, I love puns. But the reason why I've got this in here is because the Brooklyn Nets do actually have some good wins. They're a bad team, but they do have some good wins on their ledger. How are they going to get those wins? If this game were to go south for the Lakers, and remember, if you show up and you don't respect your opponent, if you show up and you don't play basketball at a requisite NBA level, you can lose to any team. We've seen that. The Lakers have done that. You can lose to any team if you don't show up for the game. But specifically, and I mean, you're not locked in mentally. I'm not expecting the Lakers to be playing this like it's a game 7. But the Lakers need to show up with a business-like approach, go in there, do what they need to do to get the win. If the Nets are going to make a game of this, The way they're going to do it is from behind the three-point line. You look at the Nets schedule here and the games they have won. Look, they beat the Bulls. They beat the Jazz. They beat the Nuggets, right? They beat the Nuggets. They beat the Wolves, the 76ers, the Raptors. They won 3 in a row there. At one point, their defense was amazing. They beat the Bucks, the Pels, the Hornets, who are now red hot right now, the Bulls. They beat the Celtics, the Wizards, Pacers. So they've got a few quality wins here on their record. And so when we're looking at the Brooklyn Nets as a team and how they could pose a threat to the Lakers, they are a very high volume three-point shooting team. So high volume, not high percentage. In fact, percentage-wise, the Brooklyn Nets ranked 26th in the NBA in three-point percent. They're a bad three-point shooting team percentage-wise. However, they're number 6 in the NBA in three-point volume. So why is that something that we have to keep a really close eye on? Well, it's because the Brooklyn Nets are a team that shoots a high enough volume to where if you happen to play them when they're having an outlier three-point shooting game, suddenly you're in trouble. This is a team that shoots a lot of threes. And that's problematic for the Lakers because the Lakers are a team that gives up a very high percentage from deep. So when we look at what the Lakers do, in fact, the Lakers right now, after that Knicks game, ranked 27th in the NBA in opponents' three-point percentage accuracy, right? And they are 29th in the NBA in non-corner threes. That's not good at all. They're very bad at defending the three-point line this season. They give up a very high percentage from there. So if the Nets were to have an above-average three-point shooting game, it would likely occur against a team like the Lakers, who don't defend the three-point line very well on the season, and they shoot a high enough volume that, in theory, that could keep them in or perhaps even get them to win a game if they have a hot shooting night. We certainly saw the Knicks lit up the Lakers from behind the arc last game. So if the Nets are going to make a game of this, the way they do it is from behind the three-point line. So do you three what I three? Very, very important that the Lakers do what they can to chase players, especially Michael Porter Jr., off the three-point line, that they're focused there with their perimeter defense, because that is the path. If the Nets are going to make this a closer game than what the Lakers want, if the Nets are maybe even going to steal a win in this game, and you know you're going to get full effort from Brooklyn, especially against the Lakers, they know eyeballs are going to be on them. If the Nets are going to steal this game, they're going to do it from behind the arc with a outlier heater performance from three, and the Lakers just so happen to be a team that is very susceptible to those kinds of performances. So that is the key stat to watch. It is the Brooklyn Nets three-point percentage in this game. And because of that, my X factor is Marcus Smart. I think Marcus Smart is so critical for this team, not just their perimeter defense, but their defensive focus. In a game like this, focus is going to be so important. The Lakers are supposed to win this game. They are the better team. But if you go into it thinking we're the better team, they can't run with us. We've got this team beat, no problem. This is an easy win. Hand us the W so we can be on our way. It's the last game of the road trip, which is also notoriously a trap game. You can find yourself in a lot of trouble. And it's going to be up to the veterans, including Marcus Smart, to keep everybody else locked in and focused. Now, I've got Marcus Smart as the X factor. I like to not pick LeBron and Luka as X factors because they're the stars, right? But when I'm talking about Marcus Smart and him keeping everybody else engaged, let's be honest, there's also a key element of this is LeBron and Luka. If LeBron and Luka are locked in, everybody else will be. If LeBron and Luka are not locked in, there's a much higher chance that other guys are not as well. Marcus Smart can help combat that a little bit. And of course, his perimeter defense is going to be important. The Lakers' level of talk and communication against the Nets' three-point barrage going to be very important. But ultimately, LeBron and Luka, if they are taking this game seriously, the rest of the team will as well. If not, Marcus Smart has to light a fire under most of the rest of the team. And the high motor guys, Jared Vanderbilt, going to have to do the same thing. The Jake LaRavia, is going to be a high motor player, needs to pick other players up. The easiest solution, though, would be a relatively high motor game from LeBron and Luka in the final game of the road trip. They need to close it out the right way on this trip. If they do get this win, they will be 5-3. If they lose this game, they are 4-4. Losing this game would be a disaster. Let's put it that way. It would be a disaster for the Lakers. Give them the schedule ahead. You can't drop games like this against the Brooklyn Nets. They got to show up. Lakers have to show up tonight for this one. Do what you need to do. Get the win. Hop on the plane. Finally, the Grammys are over, and the Lakers can go.
It's anyone's guess as to what actually happens on Thursday's NBA trade deadline. There are so many rumors leading up to the date that it becomes nearly impossible to separate fact from fiction. What if we asked AI to sort through the rumor mill instead of the NBA newsbreakers who gaze through their crystal balls and talk to actual people? Los Angeles has been thrown around in some big trade rumors. Grok thinks that a more minor move is coming. My prediction: the Lakers will likely make one modest trade for a cost-controlled 3-and-D wing to bolster their playoff push rather than a major overhaul or standing completely pat, Grok wrote. Grok cited multiple reports that indicate the Lakers prioritizing cap flexibility for a potential summer splash, e.g., pursuing Giannis Antetokounmpo or another star once their 3 first-round picks become fully tradable post-draft. That makes a lot of sense given that LeBron James's $52.6 million salary is coming off the books and the Lakers will have more wiggle room to make moves. As far as targets go, Grok gave 3 scenarios from most to least likely. Grok cited Marshall's familiarity with Luka Doncic from their shared Mavericks days, along with his low cost and versatility. This prediction makes a lot of sense. The Mavericks are struggling this season, and trading off their veterans is their best course of action. Grok predicted a price of Rui Hachimura, Dalton Knecht, and a first-round pick. That almost certainly wouldn't be enough to get the Pelicans to say yes. Keep dreaming, Grok. After Jimmy Butler's season-ending ACL injury, the Warriors aren't doing much this season unless they make a big trade. Grok predicts that they will do exactly that, entering the Giannis sweepstakes. Here are its 3 most likely scenarios for Golden State. Grok cited Giannis as the Warriors' prime target for years, with insiders noting that they have expressed firm interest. It put together a package of Jonathan Kuminga, Brandin Podziemski, Trace Jackson-Davis, 3 unprotected picks, and a pick swap in exchange for the Bucks star. Grok certainly isn't the first to think that Giannis might go to Golden State. The package it puts together, though, has issues. It's not close to legal given that those 3 players make $26 million less than Giannis. The Warriors could trade for Giannis, but they would have to include Butler as the matching salary. So far, they have indicated that they are unwilling to consider that option. Grok does think that the most likely Giannis option is for him to stay put. It cites insiders like Brian Windhorst and Doc Rivers, emphasizing that the Bucks aren't aggressively shopping him yet, along with the fact that they have no incentive to tank this year. If Giannis does get moved, Grok thinks that the Heat, Knicks, Wolves, Bulls, and Hawks are likely landing spots, along with the Warriors. Marshall would be an easy target given his $9 million salary. He could bring the defensive toughness that the team is missing, although he hasn't shot the ball well from 3 in the past few seasons. Grok thought there was a decent likelihood that the Lakers would try to preserve their assets in order to make a run at Giannis or some other superstar over the summer when they have more financial flexibility and draft picks to work with. They will have some big decisions to make, namely what to do with Austin Reeves, who will likely decline his player option and get a huge payday. Jones is one of the best wing defenders in the league, so it makes sense that Grok would target him for the Lakers. Grok cited the sky-high asking price as a reason why this deal probably doesn't get done. Grok predicted a price of Rui Hachimura, Dalton Knecht, and a first-round pick. That almost certainly wouldn't be enough to get the Pelicans to say yes. Keep dreaming, Grok. After Jimmy Butler's season-ending ACL injury, the Warriors aren't doing much this season unless they make a big trade. Grok predicts that they will do exactly that, entering the Giannis sweepstakes. Here are its 3 most likely scenarios for Golden State. The Los Angeles Lakers don't need extra motivation to execute a trade this week. Dalton Knecht is no longer interested in continuing his NBA career with the Lakers, and the franchise is still on the market for a 2-way perimeter-oriented stud. In a thought-provoking trade idea created by Sports Illustrated's Gray Deo, the Lakers would cut ties with Knecht in favor of a 6-time All-Star forward before the upcoming deadline. The Lakers get better through this mock trade: Knecht, Jake LaRavia, and Rui Hachimura, and a 2030 first-round pick to the Sacramento Kings for DeMar DeRozan, despite losing a solid piece in LaRavia. Los Angeles gets an efficient veteran scorer with 7 years of playoff experience under his belt with DeRozan. With the defensive intensity rising in the playoffs, it produces crucial half-court offensive sets. DeRozan thrives in half-court sets and in big moments, both traits contributing to improving the outlook for the Lakers season. The one thing that Los Angeles would have to figure out in this mock deal is compromise on the offensive end. When Austin Reeves comes back from injury, combining his offensive game with DeRozan, James, and Luka Doncic will be difficult, but it can be done. DeRozan hasn't been in a competitive NBA environment in years. The USC product's last playoff appearance came during the 2021-22 campaign with the Chicago Bulls. It didn't last long, though, as the Milwaukee Bucks eliminated the Bulls in a quick 5-game first-round series. DeRozan is currently on a Kings squad that's destined to finish at the bottom of the Western Conference. Still, the former Toronto Raptors star is making the best of his situation, as he's contributing 19.2 points per game while shooting 50.6% from the field and a career-best 34.3% from three-point land. DeRozan's patented mid-range game, clutch shot-making late in games, and improved three-point shooting make him a contributor the Lakers shouldn't turn their nose up at. Of course, the right opportunity must present itself for the Lakers to acquire the proven 36-year-old veteran. After Jimmy Butler's season-ending ACL injury, the Warriors aren't doing much this season unless they make a big trade. Grok predicts that they will do exactly that, entering the Giannis sweepstakes. Here are its 3 most likely scenarios for Golden State. The Los Angeles Lakers don't need extra motivation to execute a trade this week. Dalton Knecht is no longer interested in continuing his NBA career with the Lakers, and the franchise is still on the market for a two-way perimeter-oriented stud.